What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Krishna, and in today's video we're going to be checking out a really interesting Dragalge double water fairy team comp, basically with Dragalge, Azumarill and Primarina. Now Primarina is extremely glassy and doesn't have the best moveset, which is why I feel like it works best in an ABB line like this one, where you're going to use Azumarill as the save swap to bait out the water fairy counter so that Primarina can sweep towards endgame, right? And Dragalge is absolutely amazing in being able to provide coverage against all of the water fairy weaknesses. It basically resists grass, poison and electric, which do really well against this backline, right? So there were some really fun battles in here, and let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. We have Dragalge into a Hisuian Electrode. Now this is actually pretty good that we caught this thing on the lead, because the backline really struggles against Electrode, right? And I'm going to farm up quite a bit. Everything here is resisted because of that dragon poison typing. I'm going to let this go through here, and then it is a wild charge which actually does a lot of damage. So I'm going to shield the next one here. And at this point, they make a switch into their Nidoqueen. Now, I don't have any choice but to stay in, right? Because this line really also struggles against Nidoqueen. So I'm going to basically have to stay in, and then I'm going to try and do as much damage with Dragalge. Luckily, we have a lot of loaded energy here. Aqua Tail is obviously going to do super effective damage. And I'm going to soak up this Poison Fang. And then I know I'm not going to be able to get to another Aqua Tail, so I'm going to basically switch into my Azumarill, which is not the best matchup for Azumarill, but it's not the worst either because we're both doing super effective damage to each other. So I'm going to soak up the Poison Fang and I'm going to try and bubble down right now. Unfortunately, we're going to have to soak up another one, but I'm going to shield this up this time and then basically farm all the way down, right? And I'm just going to probably throw the Ice Beam at whatever comes out. They actually come back with their Hisuian Electrode. I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam here, and it gets the shield. Now this tells me that they could potentially have something in the back which is weak to Azumarill, which means that Primarina has a it's pretty good for Primarina, right? They go for the wild charge, which is okay. I'm going to switch in my Primarina, and they have a Talonflame in the back, and my only win condition here is to catch the Brave Bird on the Dragalge, and luckily I'm able to time the sack there, and then it is a Brave Bird, and then I'm going to be able to come back with the Primarina and Charm all the way down because they are debuffed. We're going to be able to farm all the way down here. And then we have a Moonblast ready to go, and this is easily going to take out the Electrode there. So pretty close battle. Honestly, even though Primarina is a water type, it doesn't really have a great matchup against some of those fire types because Charm is resisted and it takes forever to get to Hydropump, right? So it's a good thing we were able to catch because that was our only win condition there. So moving into the next battle here, we have a Dragalge into a Galvantula. And again, a good thing we caught this thing on the lead. Again, Dragalge completely walls Galvantula. Both bug and electric type moves are resisted. It is a lunge which is resisted. So I'm going to try and do as much damage with Dragon Tail as possible. And then I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail here. This is not going to KO because of that lunge debuff. But I'm going to be able to farm all the way down, right? Luckily, we managed to sneak an extra Dragon Tail through. And we're going to survive this lunge right now. And there's a little bit of lag there, but I'm going to be able to farm down, immediately switching to my Azumarill, right? I need to preserve the Dragalge if they have a grass in the back and they come in with their Serperior. Now, I couldn't have stayed in because Dragalge was double debuff, so I wanted to clear the debuffs here. This is not looking good because we have a Primarina in the back and I need to really get rid of the Serperior, right? I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here. Unfortunately, this is debuffed as well because of that Leaf Tornado. And they're going to go off for another Leaf Tornado. If this is a Leaf Tornado, it's obviously not going to KO. And I should be able to get to another Ice Beam here. Luckily, we don't get another attack debuff. So this should do a decent amount of super effective damage, even though it's debuffed, and that's fine. This puts it into Aqua Tail range, right? So immediately going to come in with my Dragalge and throw the Aqua Tail and force them to shield here. So I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail right now. I'm okay even if they shield or let this go through. They actually do shield that, which is perfect, and it ends up being a CMP tie. I'm going to let it go through. If it's a Leaf Tornado, it's not going to KO because that's double resisted. I'm going to come in with my Primarina and Charm down, and they have a Talonflame in the back. Now, like I said, this is not such a straightforward matchup for Primarina because these probably Incinerate is doing more damage to us than Charm is doing to Talonflame, right? So I'm going to shield this Flame Charge here, and I know I can't get to 2 moves, so I'm going to basically not throw right now because they still have a shield, and I'm going to try and farm this thing all the way down here. I'm going to try and Charm down as much as I can, and we still have a little bit of health on Dragalge, so hopefully I can get off and Dragon Tail here. So unfortunately they get to a move, but this is perfect because I think one Dragon Tail should take out the Talonflame, and we're going to be able to come with Dragalge and take it out there. So obviously because the Dragon Tail damage is going to register before the Incinerate registers. I mean, that's the good thing when you're going up against an Incinerate Pokemon. It's a 5-turn fast move, so that damage is not going to register before you can get it off, right? So extremely close battle there. They still had a shield, but luckily we were able to pull it off. So we have a Poliwrath on the lead. I mean, Poliwrath has nowhere to go in this team because all 3 of these Pokemon do really well against Poliwrath. Unless they're running Ice Punch, which I don't think they are most, because most Poliwrath run Scald and Dynamic Punch. They do go for Scald, which is resisted. And I'm going to catch the second Scald on the Azumarill here. And I'm just hoping that this doesn't give us the debuff. And it is a Scald here, and unfortunately we don't get the attack debuff, and they come with their Golbat. This is exactly what we want, right? We baited out the poison there, and this is not exactly a great matchup for Golbat because we're going to be able to get off some Ice Beams here, and I'm going to let this go through, and they actually go straight Shadow Ball, which is fine as well. I should be able to get to another Ice Beam, and I'm barely able to get it with like 1 HP there, and I'm going to be able to get off this Ice Beam. This should get the second shield from the Shadow Golbat, and that's perfect. I mean, when you get a 2 shield advantage with this team comp, Primarina is going to do really well, right? So going to basically come back with Dragalge here. We have a lot of loaded energy. Going to go for the first Aqua Tail right now. And they get off a move I'm absolutely okay with. This is probably just going to be a Poison Fang, which is resisted. And I'm going to overfarm by 1 Dragon Tail and then go for the Aqua Tail here. This is definitely going to take out the Golbat. And they have a Sableye in the back and we have a Primarina, and this is a good game right here. So, I mean, as you can see, it just works like a charm sometimes when you can bait out that Poison type. Typically, most people like have something in the back which is really weak to Primarina. And yeah, you know, just that fast move damage just does so much there. So moving into the next battle here, we have a Dragalge into a Registeel. Now, Registeel is probably the most difficult Pokemon to deal with for this team. Dragalge actually has a decent matchup against it because it kind of completely walls Registeel, especially if they're running Zap Cannon and Focus Blast. Both of those are resisted, right, because of the Dragon Poison typing. But Aqua Tail doesn't really do that much damage, and I'm going to soak up the Zap Cannon here, and then I'm going to switch in my Azumarill, and hopefully I can get to a Hydro Pump, but they're probably going to outpace us to the charge move, which is unfortunate because Zap Cannon is going to be coming through. This is going to do massive, super effective damage and also lower our attack here. And now they make a switch into their Cresselia. Now, Cresselia and Registeel in the same team is going to be very difficult to deal with for this team. I'm going to go for the debuffed. Ice Beam hardly does anything against Cresselia. I'm going to try and get off as many of these as possible before they can get to a Grass Knot. And yeah, this is definitely not looking good, right? And they're going to go for a charge move here. There's no point shielding this. I'm going to let the Azumarill go down. And I'm actually going to come in at Primarina because Dragalge is going to take super effective damage from Psycho Cut. But yeah, with Primarina also doesn't have a great matchup against Registeel, so might as well use it here. I'm going to shield up this Grass Knot here and hopefully I can farm down, but they have so much energy there, right? They're going to be able to get off another Grass Knot here. I can't afford to shield this. I'm going to let it go through. That just does so much damage. You can see how glassy Primarina is. I mean, to take that much damage from a Grass Knot from Cresselia, they come back with their Registeel. I'm going to go into my Dragalge here and going to go for the Aqua Tail, and I'm really hoping that whatever they have in the back is extremely weak to Primarina, right? That's my only win condition right now. And charge move is going to come through. I'm absolutely going to shield this because even though it's resisted, I need to preserve the health on my Dragalge. Unfortunately, they have an Azumarill in the back. I'm going to try and get to a Gunk shot here, and I'm not going to be able to get it in time. And yeah, that's pretty much over right now because Primarina has very little health and is not at a move either, so I decided to give up the match there. And that's actually one of the reasons why I'm running Gunk Shot, is to provide coverage against other Charmers. This team doesn't really have a hard response to Charmers, so I mean, obviously Gunk Shot can catch a few people off guard. So we have Dragalge into an Abomasnow, probably the worst Pokemon to run to for this team comp because it does well against this entire team, right? But I'm going to be able to catch the Weather Ball on Azumarill, which is good. And they are staying in, which is obvious because Abomasnow has such a good matchup against Azumarill. They're going to go for the Energy Ball here, and we can tank that even though that's super effective. And I'm going to be able to go for the Ice Beam. This is likely going to get a shield from the Abomasnow because they realize that we have multiple Pokemon which are weak to Abomasnow, right? So they're going to want to preserve health on it, which is absolutely fine by me because Primarina does really well when shields are down. So at this point, I can't come in with Dragalge because we're taking super effective damage from Powder Snow. Better off coming with Primarina because we can charm all the way down, right? I'm going to have to shield once because Energy Evolve would one-shot. So I'm going to definitely shield this up here. But unfortunately, they bait with Weather Ball, and now they make a switch into their Talonflame. Now, this is again going to be slightly tricky. I'm going to be able to get to a Moonblast here. I'm just going to go for it, even though it's resisted, to try and force a shield out of them. We do get the shield, which is fantastic, and I'm going to let this go through. I'm calling this Flame Charge shield bait here because we still have a shield, and they go for Flame Charge. We do survive that. Immediately switching into my Dragalge and going for the Aqua Tail right now. And hopefully I can farm it down with Dragon Tail, right? It gets it pretty low. Hopefully I can farm it down before they can get to another move, and we are able to do it, which is fantastic. And they come back with Abomasnow, and because they baited with Weather Ball, they have a lot of loaded energy. I'm going to shield this up. They probably have a Water type in the back. Typically, most Abomasnow leads have a Water type in the back, and they have a Swampert, which is expected, right? Abomasnow and Swampert is actually a pretty solid core, but we have a lot of loaded energy here. I'm going to be able to get off back-to-back Aqua Tails. These Dragon Tails are also absolutely chunking right now. And yeah, just going to get off this Aqua Tail here, and then switching into my Primarina to catch this Hydro Cannon. And then I should be able to come back with Dragalge and farm all the way down, right? I should be able to farm down the Swampert with Dragon Tail here. and then Abomasnow is going to go down to 1 Dragon Tail. Extremely close battle there. I mean, Swampert can also be slightly tricky for this team comp because it does super effective damage across the board with Mud Shot against Dragalge, and it has Sludge Wave, which can one-shot the Primarina and also do massive damage against Azumarill. So we're up against a Raikou here, which is a pretty positive lead. Again, it's a good thing we want to catch this on the lead, and also very surprising to see a Raikou. That's such a cool pick, right? And they make a switch into their Garchomp, and this is GG's for them. I mean, I could just come in with my Primarina and completely chomp down here. They come back with their Raikou, and Primarina is absolutely tearing through this team comp here. So I'm going to shield this up. I want to see what's in the back. They probably have something else which is also weak to Primarina. They go for the Wild Charge. Unfortunately, they're able to get the back-to-back here, so I'm going to have to shield this one. And then I'm going to be able to chomp down. And then let's see what they have in the back. They have a Hitmonchan in the back, and this is over. I mean, this... yeah, I mean, like Primarina absolutely like almost 1v3 that entire team there, and we're gonna soak up this Thunder Punch and we're gonna farm down. So actually, I mean, shoutouts to my opponent. That is such a spicy team comp. I mean, with Raikou, a Shadow Hitmonchan, and a Garchomp. I mean, that's shoutouts to them. It's actually very weak to Charm, but it's a very spicy team nevertheless. So we have an Umbreon in the lead, which is not great, but we have double counters to Umbreon, so immediately switching into my Azumarill here. And now they make a switch into their Venusaur. Now, because they were slightly late to switch out, I'm going to be able to get off this Ice Beam, and I'm really looking to win switch advantage, right? Because I want to line up my Primarina against their Umbreon. So I'm going to shield this up, and then I'm going to try and get off this Ice Beam here. And then hoping they let this go through, but they're probably going to shield this because they would want to win switch as well. And yeah, they do shield that, and we're going to have to shield another Frenzy Plant. I'm going to actually commit another shield to Azumarill. Typically, I don't like to shield on my Azumarill considering how glassy Primarina is, but in this case, I definitely want to win switch advantage. So I'm going to go for another Ice Beam here, and it gets the shields this time. So I realized that I'm not going to be able to win switch advantage, so I'm going to be immediately come in with my Dragalge and delete the Venusaur right there. And they come back with their Umbreon, and if this Umbreon is running Psychic, this is going to be unfortunate because it's going to do so much super effective damage. And I'm not going to be able to get to a Gunk Shot because Umbreon is going to be able to outpace Dragalge to the charge move. So I was going to try and get some chip damage off with Dragon Tail and Aqua Tail so that it's going to be easier for Primarina to farm. And charge move is going to come through, it's going to be a foul play, and it's going to take us out. I'm going to actually wait out the switch clock because their switch timer is back up, but ours is not yet, right? So I'm going to come in with my Primarina. They come in with their Skarmory, and my only win condition here is to catch a move on Azumarill, right? And I'm really hoping they go for Brave Bird right now, but they go for Sky Attack, which is not good because at this point, they're going to be able to farm down, and this is far from ideal because I'm not going to be able to get to a Hydro Pump as well. Ice Beam is not going to do enough damage, and Primarina is really far away from a move as well. So this is not looking good for us right now. I'm going to try and get to a Moonblast, but unfortunately not able to get there, and this is probably going to be a Brave Bird, right? And that's going to one-shot the Primarina. I was hoping that they would go for a Brave Bird against the Azumarill, and that would have been perfect because we could have come in with Primarina and farmed all the way down, right? But anyways, moving into the next battle here, we have a Dragalge into a Nidoqueen. A Shadow Nidoqueen absolutely have to stay in this opening matchup here, but they make a really nice catch on the Walrein. I mean, unfortunately, we waste a bit of energy, but that's okay because we should be able to come in at Primarina and charm this thing all the way down, right? This is just going to be an Icicle Spear because it's too soon to be Earthquake. I'm going to soak that up, and then I'm going to be able to farm it all the way down. We're going to have to probably soak up another Icicle Spear, which is fine. That's resisted as well. And then hopefully I can come out of this matchup with a Moonblast, right? I mean, Nidoqueen is probably going to come back in, and they're going to go for a charge move right away, which is okay. I'm going to let this go through, and I'm going to come back with Dragalge here. So immediately going to come back with Dragalge here. They can't switch out because their switch timer is not back up yet. Going to immediately go for the Aqua Tail and put some shield pressure on this Nidoqueen. And it does get the shield this time. And then I'm going to try and farm all the way down, right? Now they make a switch into the Umbreon. We have an Azumarill, and this is game over right now. I mean, yeah, it's a slightly long, drawn-out fight. We're gonna have to play it out, but yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just a formality here because Azumarill is gonna be able to tank all these moves here. I don't know why they went for foul play. Now they go for Last Resort. That's okay. I mean, this would have been a lot better if we were running Play Rough, but I'm just gonna go for the Hydro Pump right now. Obviously, it would have been better if I could have lined up the Primarina against Umbreon, but I feel like obviously Primarina has a better matchup against Walrein as well than Azumarill does. So anyways, I'm going to try and go for the Ice Beam here, and if they don't shield this, I'm going to immediately switch into my Dragalge and then go for the Aqua Tail and get rid of this Umbreon, right? And now Umbreon is going to go down, and Nidoqueen basically in the back doesn't really have too much health, and but they have a lot of energy. I'm going to shield this up because even if they bait with Poison Fang, they're not going to be able to get to an Earth Power. They go straight Earth Power, and at this point we can just farm down with one Dragon Tail there. So extremely close battle once again there, and we managed to pull it off, and that was Yes, we finished with the 4-in-1 set. Like I said, I went positive with most of the sets that I did with this team. Like had a couple of 4-in-1 sets and like a 3-in-2 set as well. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this team, it's definitely a spice team, a nice ABB line to try out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.